Hi guys. So I just wanted to make a video on why I think you should quit drinking alcohol forever. So, something that's interesting in our society is how normalized drinking alcohol is. You hear people talk about this all the time. So many interactions revolve around drinking alcohol, whether it's work events, socializing, going out to the bars, going out with your friends. Even I've noticed for myself, family events typically involve a lot of drinking. And, full disclosure, alcohol is a hard drug. I mean, it's one of the only drugs that can kill you if you go into withdrawal from it. Um, there are pretty terrible consequences from drinking too much alcohol. You could potentially cause yourself harm. You can cause other people harm. You can get in your car, crash your car. Just so many terrible things that can happen while you're under the effects of alcohol. Just the way it really suppresses parts of your personality that, kind of govern your self control. I think is quite scary. And, I should know a thing or two about this. I went to rehab when I was 24 years old. I had multiple instances where I had lost self control and I did things that were straight up dangerous. I mean, I jumped off the roof of someone's house one time. I remember another time I was out at this bar with all my college friends, and I was so shit faced that I just, completely blacked out. I tried to walk home from this bar by myself, and I was walking through a parking lot in the middle of the night, and I decided to just like lay down on the ground in this parking lot and go to sleep. And these, campus security guards find me just, face down. They peel me off the pavement. They sent me to detox, and waking up there, not a great experience. Do not recommend. Um, I broke my hand my senior year, um, and eventually, before I ended up going to rehab, you know, my mom, who I lived with at the time, actually told me that she was going to kick me out of the house if I didn't end up going. So I didn't really have a choice. But I've had like a long relationship with this drug, and what I observe around me is a lot of other people have a difficult relationship with this drug as well, especially with how like socially acceptable it is. And I would just caution anybody out there, even if you are the kind of person who has a lot of self control and you're going out and you're able to really cap yourself at like two or three drinks. It's like I still see people make fools of themselves, say dumb things that they regret. And of course, there are a lot of personalities where you can tell yourself you're only going to have a couple, but of course, the reason anybody drinks alcohol, alcohol tastes like shit if you just were to be objective about it. And it's like people drink it because they love the dissociation, they love kind of the uninhibited effects. A lot of people use it to, socialize. It makes you more easygoing, or we definitely feel that way. Um, but yeah, it's really a slippery slope, and it's such a fine line. I mean, like depending on what food you ate that day, you could cross well over that line into a place where you don't want to be. And I've tried a variety of drugs in my life, and I think alcohol is one of, if not like the most dangerous drugs there is. And after going to rehab, I really cut back on my consumption, and to the point where I was actually completely off it. I want to say for about 6 months, I would literally go to bars with my friends and just not drink, just kind of like watch them drink, which was interesting, right? Being a sober person, watching all your friends get drunk and make fools of themselves. And I would say that I then started drinking eventually after those 6 months, and again fell into like another bad kind of situation, and I've reached a point in my life where I hardly ever choose to drink at all. I can't say that I'm fully sober at this point, um, but even when I'm drinking, like one or two, I'm almost asking myself, what's really the point? I mean, if you're the kind of person who cares about your health, you care about longevity, you care about your focus day to day, and if you're really, fixated on kind of your day to day life being better so you don't have to, take a substance to kind of cope with all these problems you want to get away from, then, it seems like the best course of action is to just cut this stuff out entirely. Like if I have one or two drinks, I still feel different in the morning. It can affect my stomach. It definitely affects my productivity, I would say. And you could listen to somebody like Huberman, and it's like alcohol literally has no benefits whatsoever. I mean, you could argue that smoking weed might make you more relaxed, more creative, or something like that. But I think with alcohol, outside of being like dissociative and like uninhibiting, there's like literally no benefits whatsoever. A lot of the alcoholic beverages that most people drink, like beer, are very estrogenic. If you're a guy, like hops has a ton of estrogen, so that's kind of how you get the characteristic, beer belly. Is basically like a bad hormone balance from consuming a ton of stuff like IPAs or beers with a lot of hops in them. And I guess, yeah, if you want to like think about it differently, I understand that a lot of socializing revolves around drinking, and at the same time, it's like just because everybody else is doing something doesn't mean that you need to participate. And that's maybe easier said than done. But I think the goal for everybody should be to get to a point where, you raise kind of your baseline for feeling good, right? So if you're, really focused on all the things that you want to do in your life purpose, on getting better, and on improving and on basically loving yourself, then that's going to involve getting rid of these things that kind of act as an escape from all the things you don't want to address. And maybe if you're super unhappy in day-to-day life, then alcohol is a great coping mechanism for that. And so I guess this is just to say that I know a lot of people around me who drink. In fact, I would say, I have one friend who's entirely sober, but just about everyone outside of that drinks. And some people that I know and spend time with regularly drink pretty heavily. I would say like multiple days a week. They have like three or four or even more drinks than that, which I consider to be a lot. And that doesn't, you know, factor into like what I'm going to do with alcohol. Luckily I'm at a point in my life where I don't really feel the need or the pressure to fit in with people, do what other people are doing. Um, and I will promise you this, that if you remove, this kind of crutch in your life, similar to many other crutches, if you're, any kind of addict, if you have a problem with maybe smoking weed every day, if you're addicted to nicotine, um, all these things are a crutch. And I'd say slowly removing all of these things from your life is going to be better in the long run. But like most things, it's going to be painful in the short run, right? That's the trade off. But, just because everybody else is doing it, and just because it's, a big social thing, it's like you're going to meet like minded people who support you. If people are trying to pressure you into drink when you're out and about, um, it's like misery always loves company. Like people don't want to see somebody, making them self-conscious about their decisions, even if their decision is outright bad, right? It's like they don't want you highlighting them making that bad decision. And so don't be peer pressured into doing something like that. Be focused on what you want to do, what you need to do, and, live, I would say, that kind of, you know, uh, alternative lifestyle in a way, or that contrarian lifestyle, right? If you are going to go against the grain and do this, you're going to be better for it. And a lot of people aren't going to like it, but you just need to do you and look out for yourself. So that's all I got.